How's it going, everybody? I'm Ook, and today I am here to tell you everything you need to know about my channel's upcoming 2022 quest to knock out some backlog games, Finish It February. So, I guess the first thing to talk about is why we're doing this and why we're doing it in February. It's pretty easy to explain. If you've been on my channel at all, you know that there's one game that I kind of play a little too much. I'm a regular over at the Dr. Mario Championships monthly speed tournaments, and they happen to hold it at the end of the month. Well, 6 years ago, I got married at the end of the month in February. So every February, I kind of have to come up with something different to do because I generally don't want to fight my wife on whether or not I get to play in the tournament. It's no fun. I'd rather enjoy my anniversary. So last year I did Virus Free February, where I made it a point not to play Dr. Mario at all for an entire month. Ended up with a world record, so that was kind of cool. This year I thought, let's get a little more ambitious. So I'm a bit of a games collector. I really enjoy going down to my local game store and finding just some older title that they're selling for a song that I think, man, that would be a lot of fun to stream. And then I get it home and maybe I pop it in once and then I play Dr. Mario and I play Donkey Kong Country and I play whatever group game we're playing on Wednesdays, and that's it. So this February I thought I am going to complete as many different games as I can, especially those backlog titles that I bought specifically for the stream. And then I thought, you know what, this sounds like a lot of fun, and I know some other streamers who are very driven by doing stuff like this, and I contacted them to try it as well. And now we've got about a half dozen people already signed up, and there's plenty of room for you to be there as well. So if you're interested in taking part in Finish It February this year, you can follow the links in the description below over to my Discord server. Find the Finish It February channel, and if you look at the two pinned posts, one of them is a sign up post. Just click on that and you will see that there are two emotes underneath of it. One of them is an A, that is for if you want to stream your games. The other is a B if you don't necessarily want to stream your games. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So once you've signed up, here is how this is all going to work. First off, there is a complete set of rules. That's the other pin post on the Discord channel. But hopefully I'll cover everything that you actually need to know right here. The first thing is that there are two groups in the competition. Group A is, as I said, for people who want to stream their games. So if you're in this group, your games only count if you stream them during the month. If you're in Group B, it doesn't matter if you stream them or not. Stream whatever games you'd like to. You count all the games that you finish during the month, regardless of whether or not you stream them. So you can switch groups. Feel free to just put your name on one now, and before February 1st, you can swap over as many times as you want to. Just pick one though. And then after February 1st, you do get one chance to swap groups. If you were in Group B and you're moving to Group A, you only get to count the games that you've already completed if you stream them. And if you're moving from Group A to Group B, then it doesn't really matter. So, keep that in mind. So we do have a couple of small prizes. Palidomosa has been gracious enough to join me in ponying up a prize. They will be small, they will be handmade. She does perler beads, I do cross stitch, so it's going to be something like that. The benefit of being in Group A is that you get first pick of prizes if you win, and then the winner of Group B will get the remaining prize. And either winner can choose to award their prize to somebody else for exhibiting the spirit of the game. And what is that spirit of the game? It's our first rule, competition rule number 1. This is the big rule. This is the most important rule of the whole competition, and it is this: games are supposed to be fun. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins this as long as we're all having fun. We're all winners if we're having fun. It's like doing summer reading at the library. Yeah, somebody's going to get a big prize at the end of the summer, but what you get out of it is the books that you read and the time that you got to spend doing that. This is about playing games. So if you're taking part in the competition and you find yourself taking the competition or yourself or this rule too seriously, quit it. Have fun. Play the games. That's what we're here for. Okay, so you've signed up and you know the big rule number one. So what is next? Well, the next thing for you to do is get your games together and make a list of everything that you've got available. We're going to use this list in the event of a tie, but overall, the point of this is just to get an idea of what you have. Dust off the old collections of whatever. Pull out that console that you haven't looked at in ages and find games that you can stream. Or find games you can play if you're not streaming. So if you can stream it or can play it, then put it on the list. If it's something you can't actually play, don't put it on the list. If you've got a game you don't have a console for, don't put it on the list. If it's in another language, don't put it on the list unless you speak that language or you just really want to try. If the disc is broken, I've got one of those, don't put it on the list. If it's an MMO, if it's a computer game and your computer can't handle that plus stream, that's fine. You don't have to do it. If it's got explicit content that you can't stream, don't put it on the list. There's no need to do that. You just find what you can play. And the whole point of the list, like I said, is to remind yourself of what you own. And you can do like I'm doing and split it up into games you've already beaten, games you haven't beaten before, games you think you can beat quickly, games you think you're going to take a little more time. Use it to make a strategy for how you're going to break up your month. I'm personally going to take a couple of days for sure that I'm going to do shorter games, and I'm going to focus a lot of my other streams on finishing some of the longer stuff. However you do it, this is a great way to make a plan and plan to have as much fun as possible. I am totally stoked about this whole process. I've been thinking about it for a month, about what I'm going to play, how I'm going to play what, and am I going to take a day off work so that I can focus an entire day on shorter games? I don't know. I'm excited about it, and making this list is a great way to do that. When you've got that list, you can send it to me however you'd like, preferably by making a Google Doc and sharing it through Discord DM. If you want to drop your list completely in a Discord DM, that's fine as well. But, nobody's dying because of the list. It's not the end of the world if you can't make one. I get it. But I think this is positive for you, and it's going to be fun for all of us. And then that's all you have to do until February. Okay, so actually it's like a week before that, but we're going to get into that in just a second. So February 1st, the competition is officially open, and that happens at whatever is midnight in your local time. If you're in Sydney, you get a 20-hour jump start on somebody who's in Honolulu. But you also finish up at 11:59 local time on February 28th. And you know what? If you want to fly there during the month to get free 20 hours, dude, be my guest. If you're in Sydney, you want to fly to Honolulu for the 28th, good for you. On February 1st, you need to be starting each game with a clean save file if you plan to count it where possible. And what I mean by that is any game that you want to count, you need to start with from the beginning. This isn't just about finishing games. This is about playing entire games through the month. So, sometimes you're not going to be able to do that. I've got a copy of Super Mario Kart that I've had since 1994, and it's got all of the records that we've been making since I was 10 years old. You know what? I'm not wiping that. But I do know that you have to complete, this cup, this cup, and get to the credit scene. Great. Treat it, if you've got a game like that, treat it like it's new. Play through everything as if it were new. Don't skip through stuff, and you get to count it that way. That's fine. Run through whatever beating the game looks like. If you're not sure, you can ask and we'll get to the process. But the point is that whatever you start in February, finish it February, count it. Also, don't start on like a new game plus. If it's something like Final Fantasy X, just start it on a clean save file. And, there's not a lot to say about the gameplay itself. I'd like to discourage wrong warping and credits warping. You can glitch your games, that's fine. Intended warps, totally cool. But, it just doesn't seem right to start Super Mario World and then finish it a minute later because you used a credits warp. I don't feel like that's the spirit of the game. You don't have to go 100%, you don't have to go all stages, especially with some of the longer games out there. But feel free to use speedrunning strats. The unofficial rules line it up at if you are doing a glitched warp and it leads you somewhere that is in a different level, that's crossing the line of what the intent is. If if you glitch it, you warp and you end up in the same level, sure, why not? If you do something intentional and that was intended by the developers and it takes you to a different level, great. But try not to break your games just to get one more completion. Let's have fun with them. Games are supposed to be fun, remember? So let's talk about finishing games, which does lead to the process that I've been teasing. So if a game has a main ending that's clearly defined with something like the end on a screen or a credits roll or something like that, then that's the end of the game. If you finish 8-4 in Super Mario Brothers, if you escape the ring world in Halo, the first Halo, whatever, that is the end of the game. It doesn't have to be a long game. If it's got a storyline and a million side quests, just finish the main storyline. Defeat Alduin in Skyrim. Finish off the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. If there's some challenge, though, that's beyond the main ending, you don't have to worry about finishing it. In Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, finish 8-4. Don't worry about D4. If you're playing Donkey Kong Country 2, don't worry about finishing the Lost World. Just finish the main ending for your game. That said, there's a lot of games out there that don't have a good set defined ending. This is really true with some of the older arcade style games, but you'll also see it in games like Mario Party or Tetris. So what counts as finishing these games? I mean, I've got ideas, but guess what? I don't know. And that's a good thing. I am not the almighty overlord of the competition. Okay, technically I am, but by rule I am making myself not. So, but the rules make it whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, I'm not going to dictate everything. You've got a game you want to finish. You're not sure where to draw the line. Guess what? Starting January 24th, whatever time zone, I don't care. We're not worried about time. I'm worried about date. Put a question to the group in what I'm calling the appeals process. Go to the Discord channel. Find the finish it February. Propose an endpoint for your game. I will be doing that the first day, so you've got an example of what that looks like. Basically, what you're going to do is, if you're not sure what should be considered the end for your game, you're going to propose an ending. I recommend finding something that already has a category over at speedrun.com, or if you have got something that you want to argue that this is the ending, then feel free to put a little note in there. This is why I think this should be the end of the game, and then just post that in the Discord. Then we all vote on it. Once every competitor, regardless of group, has voted, or it gets to 24 hours after the question was asked, we consider the question closed and the majority rules. Tie goes to you. You get, if it's a tie, then you get to, you get whatever it is you asked for. It will vote by an emote. It's a simple yes or no. Same thing happens if you're not sure about how a rule should be interpreted. If it's something you think isn't fair or it isn't clear, put your recommendation to an appeal. If I've got any input that I want to give, especially about the rules, I'll give it. But ultimately, it's up to the group. And you know what? You guys want to find a way to kick me out of my own competition? That's fine. You have to vote on it. You have to convince a majority to do so. And you know what? That's pretty much it. So this is a little lighthearted, and that's kind of the point. I'm probably going to make a Google spreadsheet for people to put their finished games in. I haven't figured out exactly how it is that you guys are going to report exactly how many games you finished. But it is going to be an honor system because I'm not going to sit here and watch 400 hours of streams that month. We'll get the winner announced as soon as we tally everything. If there's a tie, we'll look at the games that you beat that other people own but they didn't beat. And that's a convoluted process. I couldn't find a way to make it simple. And if you're interested in that process, it's in the rules. It's way too complicated. But regardless, I hope you guys have a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Thanks for taking part. And I hope you will join me as we finish it all this February.